Hello, ladies. We're live. I'm sorry it is 5:03. Went over on something right before this, so apologies. Welcome to Wednesday night Q&A. I'm here with you on Reboot TV on the Mind Body Reboot method with my lovely lady clients. And it is your night to have questions answered. So while we do a little housekeeping along here, we have no other certificates to give out this evening. But as those become available, you'll see those happening. We're going to be doing some talking about ways to deal with self-compassion today. I have found that to be something that has been so key in you ladies being able to get the results that you want, is to have some self-compassion in your life. And so we're going to be talking about that today. Hopefully we'll see some other gals jump on here, so that would be great. I know this is a tough time for some people, and a lot of people watch this in replay, but the people who are on group, this is your time to get your one-on-one time with me. If there's any questions you want to ask about your progress, you do need to turn in your weekly progress report one day prior to this session here today. But as usual, we'll be taking questions if you have any. And then we're also going to be talking, like I said, about self-compassion. And there's a couple books I wanted to recommend and some ones that are pretty much standard and by my bedside at all times. I'm kind of gathering up all my doodahs. And we'll talk about some approaches and some things to do around self-compassion. Self-compassion is the art, if you will, of the practice of loving yourself, of giving yourself the same forgiveness and lack of judgment and love that you give other people in your life. And I think as women especially, we're programmed to be selfless and to serve others, to be the caregivers and the support givers. I think that's changing in the generations that are coming up, but you know, if there's a baby to take care of or a parent to take care of, 99 times out of 100, it's going to be the woman who is expected to do that and go to work and bring money into the family, but not the husband. He kind of gets off the hook on it, and I don't know why. But I'm hoping that changes it. I think that has something to do with our level of compassion we have for ourselves. And my light's very bright. I'm going to see if I can't turn this. It's actually blinding me. So let me see if I can turn this down a few ticks. Woo, there. God, Blake, I see like one big dot, so sorry for the bright light. Anywho, so we are talking about self-compassion. The other thing to talk about tonight is I have a very big competition that I am announcing tonight on this live. I'm hoping that you are seeing it because we are going to be doing a massive, massive giveaway at the end of this month. So for the I believe it's 4 Wednesdays. Let me just check my calendar. 1, 2, 3, 4. There are 5. Okay. So for the 5 Wednesdays in the month of June, so that's the 2nd, the 9th, the 16th, the 23rd, and the 30th. Look, thank God for everything being on that phone. When we do our Wednesday nights, we have a couple people that are joining the group this week, a couple next week, and then some people who are getting done with their private one-on-one time and continuing on to continue their weight loss journey in the group, not with the one-on-one sessions. Caroline's going to be graduating soon, and she's doing so incredibly well, and I'm going to talk about some things I've observed with Caroline and Linda and some other people, just giving them props for, you know, some great achievements they've had. But on these 5 nights that I'm here with you for an hour, I'll be here from 5 to 6 o'clock And you can jump in and ask questions, or what, like I said, watch it on replay. That most everyone watches it on replay, and that's okay, however you do it. But somewhere within that time, I am going to be mentioning a clue. And I'll be editing the video afterwards to pop that clue up on the screen as well. So after it's done, I'll download it, edit it, and put it back up so it has a beginning and ending, title card and an end card, and so that it has the clue also highlighted in something visible on the screen. And you need to collect all 5 of these clues on the 5 Wednesday night Q&A. And at the end of the time, you're going to turn in an assignment with the 5 clues. Everybody's going to have the same assignment to do. And turn in the 5 clues. And anybody who has the 5 clues in the order they were given on the 5 Wednesday night Q&As will get entered in to a contest where I'm going to be reviewing the entries that have the assignment in it, because there is a response assignment for it as well. And that will be announced next week. So there's an assignment component. It's not going to take up tons of time, but there's something that you have to do to answer and write or videotape, however, carrier pigeons, however you want to get it over to me. So again, you need the 5 clues, which are going to be verbal, and also afterwards, when you see this, it'll probably have it up there on the screen as well. So there are 5 different clues. I'm not telling you what it is or what to look for, and it's going to be a different thing each week, a completely different thing. So it's not a theme or anything. It's just some random thing that goes up there. Okay, so gather the 5 things in the order and do the assignment. The giveaway I'm going to be announcing later this month. You're going to know what it is, but it is a huge, huge, wonderful giveaway for summer. It's great. I may have said it too much already. Anyway, so keep watching. We'll see what it is. So on tonight's topic of compassion. Self-compassion is a form of mindfulness. And mindfulness, if any of you have been doing who've worked with mindfulness before or have started on your developing a wellness mindset module, I think it's module number 4, then you're going to be able to know a little bit more about mindfulness as you go about doing that. Mindfulness is the practice, and it's always a practice. It's an art. You practice it. You never quite get perfect on it, but you learn to observe what's going on in the present without any attachment to what's happening, any kind of judgment about it. You're being in the moment. So if you've ever heard someone say, just be in the moment, there's something to be said about that. My mom used to tell me, if you're looking in the rearview mirror all the time, the view is never going to change. You got to look forward and know where you're going. There's something to be said for that. But also they say depression is being sad or remorseful about things that happened in the past. And anxiety is different. Anxiety is founded or unfounded. It's a concern about something that hasn't happened and may never happen. And so we're caught between these 2 pillars of poor mental health, and that we all suffer from at different points in our lives. The human condition is to suffer. I mean, more than one religion and philosophy has come up with that answer. I mean, to suffer is to be human. And part of it is our frontal cortex got so big that we think about all these things so much that we think about it too much and judge ourselves. We get very judgmental about others, about ourselves. And you know what? We should really love ourselves in a way that we nurture our inner cheerleader, not our inner critic. We should starve our inner critic and nurture and feed our inner cheerleader. We should have ourselves in our corner so that when life throws things at you, and it's going to throw stuff at you all the time. It's just the nature of life. Your only control that you have is how you respond to that. It has to be in the moment. It has to be what's going on right now. And it doesn't mean that those other things aren't happening. You're not saying they're invalid or, oh, hooey, that's just... No, those are real things. Depression and anxiety and panic and PTSD and all the things that we suffer with as humans, they're real. They're real, valid, wonderful things that people truly suffer with. I've known it in my life. People I love have suffered with it. People I know. And it's a lot to handle. What mindfulness says is, those aren't invalid, but let's put those aside for a minute. And let's look at like what's right in front of us. Let's take a look at now. Not in any judgment. You become the observer. You observe what's happening in the now. All right? And you hold that to be true. For instance, if I was having a lot of pain, right? I could have the idea that I'm in a lot of pain, and that is going on, and I observe it as something that's going on. It's a condition that I'm having. Debilitating condition. So here's my pain. Physical, spinal pain. What I can also hold to be true is that I'm okay. I'm going to be okay. So I can be in pain. I'm going to be okay. Now, what I'm not going to do is feel sorry for myself, think about all the things I've had to give up, think of all the things in the future that I won't be able to do because of this stupid pain, suffer, suffer, suffer. No. You're just sitting with this pain right now. You're not validating it. It's still going on. Yes, there are things you can do to mitigate it with chemical treatments, heat, taking a medicine, an ice pack, whatever it is that's going to quiet that pain down. Maybe you have to have some kind of surgery or some kind, something going on, but you deal with it in the critical state that it's in. But in the chronic nature of some kinds of pain, like spinal pain, and some of you have chronic pain issues, headaches, migraines, whatever it is, where we go down in a spiral and crash about it, and it really takes over our lives, is when we look backwards, we look forwards, we pull all different kinds of things in. This person doesn't understand it, that person doesn't appreciate it, this doctor's not listening to me, and pretty soon you're just spinning. You don't want to do that. That's not helping anybody. Because the majority of pain literally is in your mind. It is your brain sensing something going on. Now, it's not to say it's all in your mind. It's not. It's in your brain, like a lot of things are. But what your mind does is it throws in all those other hopelessness, depression, anxiety on top of it, and makes it even worse. So mindfulness takes a step back and says, wait a minute, so I've got this going on, and I'm going to be okay. I'm not going to worry about how it happened. I'm not going to worry about what's going to happen. I'm just going to be with it right now. This is not permanent. It comes and goes. It's in cycles. So I can also say to myself, here is this pain. Here is me being okay, and pain will diminish. This is not a permanent state. It may come back someday, but I can't worry about that now. No judgment. It's not what did you do to hurt yourself. That question drives me nuts. If I say to a certain relative of mine, oh, this happened, like, what'd you do? It's like, I didn't do anything. Well, you must have done something. Sometimes it just happens. Accidents happen. Illnesses happen. Conditions just happen. So don't judge yourself in that moment. Take care of yourself, nurture yourself, have self-compassion for that moment. Because if you don't get into being in that moment on a lot of things in your life, you're going to miss them. A client recently told me, I was so all-consumed with food before I started your program that all I did was think food. I'm going, there's food. yada, 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 food, food, food. And I wasn't paying attention to my children. I wasn't paying attention to my career. I was missing so much in life because I was so obsessed with food. How much? When? What am I going to eat? How many calories was it? Oh no, I gotta have to punish myself. Oh, I might as well eat the whole pizza. I had one slice. It's all that constant self-talk and then the judgment, the guilt, and the everything. When that was cleared away and she became present in a non-judgmental way with what it is she was eating, savor it, enjoy it. What is it about that food that is something that's satiating to you? What's the mouth feel? What's the temperature like? Do you enjoy those spices? What's the texture? And then I took it a step further. I said, also, think about who grew the food. Where was it grown? Who nurtured those little baby plants and made it happen and brought it to your plate? Who took care of that baby animal until it was ready to feed you with its body? And be thankful to that animal for that. And to the people who got it to your plate, the dozens and dozens of people who've had contact with this to get it to you. Slow down. Don't judge. And the most amazing thing happened. She became far more in touch with her satiety hormone, with her leptin taking over, and having the space for it in what she was doing, because she wasn't producing all this cortisol with the stress and the fight or flight, and I gotta get food, I'm hangry, I gotta get the food. That was eliminated through fat adaptation and through thinking about being mindful in her eating. And she wasn't then being mean to herself and having a lack of self-compassion. She was centered in who she was at that moment. She was talking with her children at the table. She was conversing with her husband. She was in that moment and loving it. And it was very touching to read her story from her journal this week that she put down and turned in her weekly progress report, that she's getting so much more out of life since she just started being in the moment and practicing self-compassion. I only discovered self-compassion. I didn't even know it was a term. The love yourself thing's been around, but self-compassion is different than just simply loving yourself. Self-compassion means there's a forgiveness, there's an appreciation, there's a lack of judgment. There are all kinds of, imagine having compassion for your best friend. She just, had some kind of thing come up and she's having a hard time at work and she's being really hard on yourself. What are you going to say? Sally, to your friend Sally. Say, okay, Sally. Put your arm around Sally and say, it's okay. It's all right. I love you. There's nothing you could do that I wouldn't love you for. I'm sure you had your reasons for doing what you did. I don't know what they are, but I trust you had your reasons and you handled it the best way that you could in the moment. That's good friend talk. That's good friend speak. That's compassion. What I'm asking you to do is to consider having that same compassion for yourself. I had one client go to the grocery store with her daughter, bought all the food that her daughter wanted, down to her last dime that she had in the budget for food at that time, and got home and said, oh, I didn't get anything for myself. I mean, that's a level of selflessness that really needs to be examined. It's almost to the point of abuse towards herself, that she's not including herself in the equation. And her life has started completely changing, including how valuable she feels she is to follow the rules and to get healthier and to get metabolically healthy. Because this program is not about something that happens over 12 weeks or something that after 12 weeks you can just like go out. You can do whatever you want to do, but that's not what it's about. It's about changing your lifestyle, changing your value of yourself, making those paradigm shifts so that you never have to diet again. In your life, you have made a shift to where what you put in your mouth and how you move and how you sleep and all these different components to the program work together into one whole piece of yourself that is far more holistic and far more comprehensive in terms of everything that comes together to make that happen. So let's be compassionate towards ourselves. So how do you do that? Well, I gave an example of the pain thing. And that was more mindfulness than self-compassion. Well, what if you find yourself in a conflict with someone? That's a great way to do an example of self-compassion. Okay, so I'm in a conflict with my sister. Okay, I'm not saying which one, I have a couple of sisters, but I'm in conflict with one of my sisters. The way I see our conflicts always, if I take a step back and I really listen with compassion, mindfulness to my sister, I might hear the words saying yada yada, yada yada, Sheila, yada Sheila. But what's behind that is I'm jealous, I'm angry, I'm envious, I'm mad at you for this, I'm mad at myself for not having this. They're all different reasons why we come at someone and attack them, if you're feeling attacked, for instance. And rather than taking my whole set of, she's got her set of luggage. She's talking about having, pulling some luggage behind you. She's pulling all of her luggage out onto, opening it up and showing all her dirty laundry, going, I'm angry at you. Well, I have two responses, at least, but there's two that are part of this discussion. One response would be the not very mindful or evolved one. I say, hold on a second, I'm going off stage, I'm pulling in my luggage. You think you got luggage? I got the Louis Vuitton 32-piece case with the train set, and I drag it all in, I open it up, and I throw all my stuff around the stage. So we're both on stage, throwing our laundry all over the place, in the platform or whatever it is where we've met to do this. That doesn't get anybody anywhere. And I'm sure we've all had those fights, especially with relatives. They know exactly how to push the buttons because they installed them. It's true. In my most successful interactions with family members, as I've become more mindful and practicing mindfulness in my life, is not having that immediate reaction that I had when I was 6, dragging my own stuff onto the stage and throwing it around, and I'm going to show you, If I dial that back and I say, my sister must be suffering with something, I'm going to have compassion for her, and I'm going to put her arm around myself, and I'm going to say, you know what? It's not okay that she talks to you this way. We're going to give her a chance to cool down and think about what she's saying. We'll let her know she's been heard. We'll do some active mindful listening, which is basically just saying, I hear you. With no judgment, I hear you. I don't understand what you're trying to communicate just yet, but I'm going to think about it, and we'll circle back and talk again. I mean, that's huge. To be able to put the brakes on and protect yourself by saying, I don't need this response. You must be in pain if you're coming at me this way, or there's something I don't understand. I'm gonna think about it for a while. We'll circle back. I love you. I'm sorry you're feeling this way. If there's anything that I did to upset you, I don't understand what that is yet, or maybe you do, and just say XYZ is what I understand to have upset you, and you can, acknowledge that and say, you're right. There are some things that weren't kind that I did, and I'm so sorry to have hurt you that way. Let me think about this. I'm not really sure how to resolve this yet, but I hear you, and I love you. I've only got one sister named so-and-so, and I love you, and you're a big part of my life, and we're going to circle back. What do you think that does for her when you give her compassion instead of anger? Does it throw water on the fire maybe, or throw a blanket over the fire and snuff out the oxygen? If you're not dragging out your suitcase, she's kind of putting away hers because the suitcase thing's not working, dragging your dirty laundry out. Maybe you see yourself as the stage manager, to extend that metaphor. Maybe you are the kind third person That's a different kind of mindfulness and self-compassion when you see yourself as a third stranger in the room. So you see yourself, you see your sister or the other person you have a conflict with, and it's sitting in chairs facing each other, and you picture this, and you picture a third person coming in, mediating it. Well, if you are creating this scenario, then you're that person. In the Jungian sense as well, you are that person. Charles Jung is, I think it's Charles, is the guy who said, when you have a dream, he said many things, but his point about dreams were you're every single person in that dream. So when you're having an imaginary thought, like there's a person who comes on stage and is going to mediate this, because you're the one creating this, you're also the mediator. So that's what I mean by Jungian third person. And that's the kind of, it's called Gestalt. I'm sure everybody's heard of Gestalt. If you've seen a Woody Allen movie, you know what Gestalt is. And the Gestalt of that, the getting to the bottom of the emotional crux of it, the apex of it, is that third person is there to take care of both of you, to translate and to hear and say, okay, Sally, Sheila is feeling this way towards Sally, and you're going to listen to her, and she's going to have this moment, and she's going to listen to you. Now, Sheila, you're going to have to listen to Sally as well. And the person's going to come up and slowly put away our baggage backstage. It's not going to be out on the stage anymore. And that person's kind of the grown-up in the room. And they come in and they kind of put out the fire and allow us to hear each other. And I've done this with a whole bunch of conflicts in the last 2 to 3 years with family members and good friends, and it's been great. And there are some people I've had to step away from. There are some people I've had to step away and say, you know what? We're not on the same page anymore, and I'm going to have to step away. And as hard as that is, that's the right thing to do before things devolve into something ugly. I appreciate you for everything you did in my life and everything, we had, but we're not in that place anymore, and I wish you nothing but love. What's someone going to say? Yeah, right, you owe me love. We have to approach things that way, because that's how we take care of ourselves too. But you can't keep yourself out of that love bubble. You got to do that for yourself too. That's what that is. So how do you get started? There are a couple different ways to get started. One of them, they have all these different kind of little card decks. And I love these. I'm going to be doing more of these in our group as posts and as things just to prompt ideas. There's 50 or 52. This one has 52, so it's like one a week, and this has 50. And these are the self-compassion deck and the body positivity card back. 53 strategies for body acceptance, appreciation, and respect. So that's a lot of self-compassion and that self-respect, and mindfulness-based practices of self-compassion as well. And I wanted to share with you what it says about what self-compassion is. What is self-compassion? Self-compassion means relating to oneself with kindness and care, rather than judgment and criticism. It's a quality that can be developed through practice and taps into parts of the brain that have been shown to regulate emotions, reduce depression and anxiety, as well as improving our general well-being. It includes treating yourself with compassion when life inevitably becomes difficult, and deeply appreciating what is good in us and in our lives. It does not mean being selfish. In fact, research has shown that developing self-compassion leads to less selfishness and greater compassion for and connection to others. I think that's relating to yourself with kindness and care. No one ever taught us how to do that when we were younger. And the body image part of it is cultivating acceptance, appreciation, and respect for yourself. And when you respect and appreciate yourself, you're not going to fill it full of junk food, or allow it to go out on dates with men who are not nice to us, or just stay with spouses or boyfriends who are not nice to us and treat us the way we are meant to be treated. We are not going to put drugs in our bodies or drink to excess if we respect ourselves and love ourselves and accept ourselves for all of our imperfections. We're just not. Those are hard things to get over, and if you can push through those things, anything's easy. So this is what's fun about this, and I'm not going to read a whole bunch of them. I just wanted to share the definition because I thought it was very concise. So you're supposed to just pick one at random, and I'll be putting some of these up. So I just pulled this one open. It says making peace, and the suggestion is, and this is something for this week that I want you to try and do, ask yourself if there is any part of you that resists self-compassion. If so, ask that part, how are you trying to keep me safe? Can you attend to those needs rather than attacking me? So that's interesting. So if you're having, my spine hurts all the time. I could isolate that in my mind away from everything else and have a talk with it and say, why are you attacking me? Can you go please take care of something else besides that? Or it could be a mental thing. It could be attacking yourself for how you look, or that you didn't lose weight this week, or telling yourself how weak and horrible you were for having that one cookie. You have to be kind to yourself. It's got to start with you. I have found when I started having more self-respect that other people treated me with respect too. I think that we telecast how people are allowed to treat us. I think we write welcome on our own foreheads and lie down for people to wipe their feet all over you in life. And as soon as I started feeling better about myself, I got out of an abusive relationship many, many years ago, 25 or more years ago. Scrape my shoes and move on. And I did so with a great deal of self-respect and strength, maturity, wisdom. And that person was never mean to me again. Wasn't able to. Just bounced off of me because I didn't accept that I was a doormat that could be treated that way anymore. I wasn't telecasting that any longer. Anyway, so that's the different kind of cards. And so if you need some prompts to help you get in the mindset of that, it's kind of a fun way to do it. The affirmations are another way. I send out the affirmations every morning. There's a lot of places to get affirmations. In fact, Kelly's been putting up some amazing affirmations. I think it's on her private feed. I'm not sure. But Kelly, there's some of those that are wonderful that I'd love for you to put on our group as well. And if you haven't yet, please make each other friends. If you are getting in conversations with each other, make each other friends. There's things we put up on our private feed that are really great to see and really support each other. Be that compassionate voice you can go to when you need it too. Another resource, another book that I highly recommend, and someone got this book this week. It's also recommended in the resources page. This is important. It's something I keep updating and posting, and now there's a couple dozen different resources. It has websites, books, things like these cards, all the different kind of tools, journals, journal apps, YouTube videos I find that are different resources for you to read further. Because this isn't a program all about self-compassion. It's worth a Wednesday night live to talk about it, and it is a large component of your success on a long-term basis to love and respect yourself so that you can take care of yourself after all this hard work and be able to, continue on and enjoy that success for a lifetime. But it's not a course on self-compassion, but I want you to understand it and at least give it a test drive. See how it affects you. And if it's something that works for you, that's great. Because I've said this before, when you open up your toolbox of life and there's a flip-flop and some silly putty and a Band-Aid, you do not have the tools that you need to build this new life of yours, to get in there and do some repair work on your own well-being and build something new. You have to have the right tools. These are those tools. Those are those resources. Be curious. Have kind curiosity about yourself. Look at your situation with a curiousness. So when I say step back and be objective and look at that, and non-judgmental and non-critical, have some calm curiosity, some kind curiosity that you can look at it with and say, I wonder why that's feeling that way. What could we do to take care of that? So that's something to keep in mind. I think that's important. So here is a book I've read a million different times. There are assignments at the end of every chapter, and she is the the biggest authorities on self-compassion on the planet. It's Kristin Neff, PhD, Dr. Kristin Neff. This is her book, The Proven Power of Being Kind to Yourself, Self-Compassion. And it's a very powerful book. I have all kinds of things that I've dog-eared along the way. When I do the work, I go in here and I write in the book and I do things. And one of my decks that I have is self-compassion cards, and this one came up the day I got the book, and I use it as my bookmark. It says, I love myself totally and in the now. That's been one of your affirmations recently. The other says, healing means to make whole and to accept all parts of myself, not just the parts I like, but all of me. Wonderful. That nails it. So that's another really terrific resource. There's another one, which is her website, which is self-compassion.org, O-R-G. And that is a free resource to go in, to read parts of this book, to look at all the different, there's a workbook too, if it's something you really get going with. But I'm going to be having a workshop in mindfulness and compassion, that it's a 3-day long workshop coming up soon. I will announce it'll probably happen in August. I'm not sure, possibly sooner if I can pull it together by then. But it's not necessarily going to be about eating, but it's going to be about wellness in general and about mindfulness and self-compassion. So keep an eye out for that. So that's another resource, that book. I always, I got an entire case of journals. And these, they still call them moleskin, even though it's hard. I didn't understand that, but it's just lined paper. It's just a blank lined paper, something that can fit in any purse that I have and go with me. And I keep ideas in there. I keep affirmations I think of, and I write a lot of my own affirmations. And we've talked about how to do that in other videos. There's a formula for doing it that you can't go wrong with getting started with writing your own. But the things that you write for yourself oftentimes become that thing you need to remind yourself of with affirmations. And affirmations do work. They are something that has an effect in our lives. So journaling, that's another one. And one that I just got, I've been hearing about it for a long time. And it's by an author by the name of Tara Brach, B-R-A-C-H, and it's called Radical Compassion. Radical Acceptance was her first book, and this is about learning to love yourself and your world with the practice of what she calls RAIN. RAIN is recognize, allow, investigate, and nurture. So those are the steps of mindfulness and self-compassion. Remember I said kind of a kind curiosity, you're kind of investigating. It's like, I wonder what's causing that. And so she's named it RAIN, but as an acronym, but it's a very good read. I'll let you know what I think when I'm done. I'll do a little review of it, but it's an amazing tool. It's a life-changing tool to be always curious about things like self-compassion and mindfulness, and carve out 20 minutes to have a meditation or to think about something that upset you and think, how could I have dealt with it better? Or how can I be kind to myself in this moment and move forward? And the amazing thing that happens is you really start thinking about everybody else and what can be done. So, okay, clue number 1, Dragonfly. Okay, moving on. The next thing I want to talk about are the guided meditations. Now, I've put them up under sleep. I'll be doing some more. I even got a special microphone that's an ASMR microphone where you can whisper into it. You can get all the little sounds. That always cracks me up when people do that. But I wanted to be able to record guided meditations for you. So I have a number of scripts that I've put together and researched and found some of them that are very good. And there's going to be every topic from anxiety to family to self-talk and criticism and self-compassion, every possible topic between sleep, stress management, dealing with a panic attack, just doing a body scan and releasing any stress and getting better sleep. They're amazing in taking care of your mind and healing and doing that. So we are now on SoundCloud, and I put soundcloud.com. You can go to it. It's also an app. And Optimal Health Reboot is its own channel, and you can go to it and you can listen to any one of them. They're private, so I'm posting the links to them so that it's not something that's a general public. This is just for you guys. No one else can find these and have this bonus. This is something just for my rebooter ladies. So this is for you. Guided meditations, I think it says how long each one is. They're all somewhere around anywhere from 5 to 15 minutes at the most. The ones for sleep are a little bit longer. One, for instance, is you're picturing yourself by a lake. Like all of us can conjure up a lake in our heads, or at least a fictional one if you don't have a strong memory. You know what a lake's supposed to look like from movies and books and pictures. And you get in touch with being in that space, and it walks you through how to use the image of a lake as something that you can hold on to in your mind's eye for at times when you have stress or you have conflict or something's going on, you can return to the lake. It's an amazing little mental vacation. It's terrific. Another one that's good also for children, if you have any kids where they find it hard to sleep at night or get into being in a nap, you can play this. It is about 18 minutes long. I think that's the longest one. And it's called The Sleepy Train. And it walks you through going on a train ride in the countryside and what you see, and what you hear, and what you smell. It does get into some affirmations that are not necessarily, rated R adult, but there are more adult in nature about feeling positive about yourself. So definitely listen to it before you have your kids. Listen to it. Make sure it's something you feel would be absolutely appropriate for them. It's not Winnie the Pooh stories at the end. It's it's got some serious things in there too. But there are all these. There's a body scan. There's a relaxation. There is all different ways of releasing stress throughout your body. There's one just for a nap. Naps are amazing for regenerating yourself. And there's a whole bunch going up on self-compassion on this very topic that are a quick 5-minute thing when you've got that self-talk going and you're getting down to yourself and you want to get in the practice of stepping back and being that mindful observer who's kind and curious and calm about it and wants to investigate. And what you can do is you can have some of those things downloaded onto your phone. You can have SoundCloud app available linked to Optimal Health Reboot. And you can go in and listen to the short nap, the body scan, the stress releaser, the I'm imperfect and that's okay one. And it just kind of jingles the keys for your brain. It says, come back to center. Stop being so critical. Take care of this person. She's important. So it's a great resource to have. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. I'm going to end with a short guided meditation. Pull it up here for us. So if you'd like to stay, it's a 10-minute meditation. And the meditation will have the idea of slowing your life down. It's a 3 to 5 minute guided meditation for relaxation and body tension release. That's what we're going to end with today. And I'm sorry that my laptop's fan is kind of going off. That's that sound you might hear in the background. So my apologies for that. But find yourself a comfortable place to be. If you're in your chair at work, or you're in bed, or wherever you're listening to this, go ahead and minimize your distractions, put them away, turn your phone off so it doesn't disturb you. And just take a minute, center yourself, get comfortable in the chair, put your feet flat on the ground. You feel the chair supporting you. You feel the ground beneath your feet. Now close your eyes. Take a deep breath in through your nose, really feeling your feet in contact with the ground underneath you. Go ahead and take another deep breath. Be conscious of your body, what you hear, what you feel. How do your clothes feel? Any thoughts that come into your mind. As you exhale, breathe them out in a bubble of air, and they float away and get further, further away until they disappear. They just come and go. So let's start by focusing on your toes. Scrunch them up and then release them. Now relax your ankles, calf muscles, knees, and thigh muscles. Remember, any thoughts you have float up and away from you in an air bubble. Now relax your buttocks, your pelvic area, and begin to notice any tension you may have in your back. Breathe deeply in, hold it, and as you breathe out through your mouth, slowly relax and release any tension you may have in your back. Now think of your shoulders. Lift them way up by your ears and then release them completely. Wonderful. Now do it one more time. Squeeze your shoulders up. Breathe in. And as you exhale, slowly have your shoulders just melt back down into your body. Now it's time to relax your neck and jaw muscles. Make sure your teeth are not pressed together and there's some space in between your upper and lower teeth. And your tongue is not pressed against the roof of your mouth. Your tongue is relaxed It's soft. And your jaw and lips are separated and apart just a little bit. Take a deep breath in. And as you breathe out, let go of any tension you're holding in your neck and your jaw. Now think about the hundreds of little muscles in your face. Smooth and relax the wrinkles in your forehead. Allow your expression to be blank. Breathe in and out through your nose and your mouth. Finally, go to the top of your head in your mind. I'd like you to hunch your shoulders up one last time. And as you slowly release your shoulders, any remaining tension from the top of your head down your body is slowly melting away. Any remaining tension sinks down and flows through you. All the tensions drained out of your head and your neck. You feel warm as that level of stress goes down your body, past your shoulders, your chest, back. Big breath in and out. Your arms are relaxed, and any tension is flowing out each finger and vanishing into the air. Continuing down your body, you relax your stomach muscles, and you feel your stomach rise and fall with each breath. Your tension continues to melt away through your hips, your thighs, and slowly makes its way down your calves, your ankles, and finally that last little bit of tension right out of the bottoms of your feet into the ground below and vanishes. Take a few more deep breaths and enjoy this feeling of relaxation and calm for a little longer. I'd like you to now slowly bring your attention back to the room. Begin noticing the sounds around you. Wiggle your toes. Move your fingers and your thumbs. And when you're ready, open your eyes. How are you feeling? I invite you to play this guided meditation or do it for yourself. You're very much worth it. Thank you for joining me tonight on Wednesday night Q&A Live on Reboot TV. See you next week. I hope you caught the clue that came by. You'll be seeing that on replay with a graphic image as well. I encourage you and invite you to read up on self-compassion and try practicing that with yourself a little bit. Let me know how it's affecting you when you're on next week or in our one-on-one talks. I'd really like to know how that's working for you. So everybody, thanks very much. Thanks for joining me. I'll see you tomorrow night on Come Cook With Me with our mock potato salad, and next week on Wednesday Night Live. Take care. Be well. Bye.